the Commission is happy today to help with our shared responsibility of overseeing the police budget by sharing how the performance of the Calgary Police Service is measured. Next slide, please. To start out, I need to highlight that the main objective for the Alberta's Police Act outlines to Council that when you approve the total police budget, we then approve how it's spent. The legislation uses the words adequate, effective, and efficient to describe the type of policing services municipalities are expected to provide. These terms are defined in the standards created by the province. We are required at a minimum to ensure that the Calgary Police Service is resourced to meet its legislative requirements and provincial policing standards in all of Calgary's communities. From there, our city has the freedom to determine what additional goals and levels of service we want from our police, provided these are appropriately balanced against the cost. Next slide, please. The additional goals and levels of the service expected of our Calgary Police Service are developed primarily through the City of Calgary's 4-year service plan and budget. Council's strategic direction to the entire municipal government forms the backbone of the policing service plan, with our Commission also providing direction based on the community input we receive through our annual perception research and other engagement. Annual policing plans are then produced to flesh out what CPS will do each year to work towards its 4-year commitments and to address any emergent needs and priorities that arise. CPS then reports quarterly to our Commission and the public on its performance and provides mid-year and year-end reports to the City's service plan and budget team. If a performance target is not being met and resourcing is identified as a cause, we will evaluate whether the goal is a critical part of adequate and effective policing for Calgarians. If it is, the need factors into future budget requests to Council. Next slide, please. And I'll turn it over to Commissioner Campbell.
Thank you. Our Commission believes it's important for performance measures to be focused on outcomes rather than outputs. This presents some challenges as policing outcomes are rarely exclusively impacted by the actions of CPS, something that is even more true as community partnerships are becoming more integral to public safety. Measuring the amount of work CPS does would limit outside influences, but we believe that the approach would not adequately measure whether Calgarians are getting the safe and equitable community they desire. We also believe that public perception is an important performance indicator, but know that there are often gaps between public perception and actual performance that creates limitations on these measures as well. Next slide, please. Due to time constraints, I will only speak at a high level about the 12 KPIs that we are currently using to evaluate the adequacy, effectiveness, and efficiency of CPS. However, we provided details on each in the written report. The Crime Severity Index measures the amount and seriousness of crime, giving us a picture of how safe people are in Calgary. While CPS does not have complete control over this indicator, it's a key outcome for Calgarians and remains a priority for us. We also want to measure whether police are attending fewer calls where a social agency is better suited to respond. As these types of calls do not typically generate a police report, tracking police reports is a way to measure how well alternative call response models are working. Police response times also remain an important indicator for us. However, this measure has been adapted to exclude the time Calgary 911 is processing a call. Trust and confidence in policing has been identified as an area of concern through our public perception research. CPS now has 3 KPIs that focus on how safe Calgarians feel and how Calgarians perceive their police. Next slide, please. One of the key ways we evaluate the efficiency of CPS is the cost per capita of policing. This measure can be tricky when comparing to other cities, as there are a variety of models for funding support services like human resources and facility maintenance that are included in those numbers. However, it does allow us to compare local costs over time. 2 key methods of measuring the effectiveness of the police are the weighted case clearance rate, which measures how well cases are being closed, and the amount of time officers are spending doing proactive versus reactive policing. Our commission and the service have also been highly focused on addressing systemic racism and inequity in policing. We will have better methods of evaluating these efforts as CPS's collection of race-based and demographically segmented data improves, but for now anyway, our main measure of this are public perception and diversity in recruiting. Finally, our commission and CPS's leadership is acutely aware of low morale, poor engagement, and wellness concerns impacting those who serve. Employee concerns have not been sufficiently addressed year after year. Improving the workplace for employees will be critical to the safety of our city and the success of our service. Last slide, please. In closing, I want to again thank you for inviting us to present this important topic, and we're now happy to take questions or comments.